probably like 2-3 years ago for sure. I was just wearing it for the male gaze.
Okay.
Now I dress because I like the way I dress. So it's like back then I had a lot of pieces that I was just wearing that I was uncomfortable in.
Okay. I don't necessarily think it's insecure. I would say it's intelligent to have the woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with dress in a way that's presentable to you, her, and the future family. Mm-hmm. I would say the way we can communicate it, the way it can comes off may seem immature. Yeah. But I won't say insecure is the word, because I would say the insecure thing is to not say nothing at all. You said some sisters may just want to go to the beach. They not trying to get sexual attention. They literally just trying to swim. I 100% agree with you. Now, with that being said, though, that still, just because the sister has no sexual intention, that still doesn't change the nature of the men. Mm. So what I would say is, to the women who don't want this sexual attention, these are the women I'm encouraging to dress differently. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Today, I got a new face with me. Now, I need you to introduce yourself by name, age, and relationship status.
My name is Erica. I'm 22, and I am single.
Do you think it's controlling for a man to change his woman's wardrobe?
In certain situations.
Okay.
I'll say a lot of times, I don't know. Men kind of look at it in a different way. It's like everything is a little sexual to them. So they looking from the perspective of another man.
Right.
Like, is he going to think that she look good in this? To me, that can scream insecurity sometimes.
Okay.
Because, you can't control how a woman look.
Okay.
You can't really tell them what not to do and what not to wear. But as far as like you wearing club attire and y'all supposed to be going to a baby shower, that's crazy.
Okay. So you think that the clothing is not necessarily a big deal. It's more about, I'm not going to say a big deal, but it's more important about the setting. Like,
the setting is important and respect, period.
Okay.
I have had situations to where I wore a certain top that didn't make my person feel comfortable. And after looking back at it, I'm like, yeah, well, I was kind of exposed. Okay. And we wasn't in the best situation for that.
Okay.
Them, I can't understand that. But if we going out to the club, I'm going to wear stuff. I'm going to wear it to the club.
Okay. Now, this a side note. I'm going to get back to that topic in a minute. I just thought of this. Have you ever wore something that made you uncomfortable? Like, because I say this all the time. You know how sisters will wear like some see-through or whatever. Mm-hmm. If this the first time you ever wore this, I doubt the first time you wore it, you were extremely comfortable in it. But after wearing it the first time, cool, you like, bam, the butterflies out. Now you're like, okay, yeah, I can wear it again, or I can wear something similar, whatever. Have you ever wore something for the first time or whatever and you were uncomfortable? Whether it's something short, see-through, anything, like.
Yeah, I would say probably like 2-3 years ago for sure. I was just wearing it for the male gaze.
Okay.
Now I dress because I like the way I dress. So it's like back then I had a lot of pieces that I was just wearing that I was uncomfortable in.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of pieces were these? Were they tops, bottoms? Like, describe the piece.
See-through.
Okay.
It would be a lot of crop tops, but like I still wear crop tops to this day. It was just like super exposed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or
like cleavage wise, or like it was stopping.
You know them shirts where it's like it shows cleavage under.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Or even the song that was I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm talking about more so the ones that showed under.
Yeah.
Like the little V cut.
Yeah.
Like really tight shorts.
Okay.
I can't think of too many things that I just wore really.
Yeah, but you just remember it was a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I want to, but before I touch on, because you said two things that I want to go back to. One of them was the insecure part. And the other one, we're going to talk about what you just said, like the uncomfortable part at first. Mm-hmm. Before we go into that, explain the situation that you had dealt with the dude changing your wardrobe or wanting you to change wardrobe. You said he was liking girls' pictures on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to confront him about it. He flipped the script and said you got a beach picture.
Yeah.
All right, cool. In this beach picture, were you like showing your ass, extra cleavage, or was it like you literally just on the beach and like you can't really see nothing?
I mean, obviously you have to wear like a bikini on the beach, but I had a cover up on, so it was like
you couldn't really see nothing.
It was nothing.
Okay, cool.
I was on the beach.
All right. Now the part where the insecurity part come in, I do think he tried to flip the script. I'm not defending him in that. Like, if your girl get on your ass or you get on your girl ass, and instead of dealing with the problem, they say, "But you did."
Right.
Yeah, that's immature. And I used to do that. Like when I was in high school, my early relationships, like one of my partners brought it up to me. She was like, "But you can't turn the tables." She said something about like flipping the table, turning the tables. I'm thinking like, damn, I did just do that. Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So from that point, I'm like, all right, like if somebody brings something up to me, even if they did something similar for real, we'll bring it up another time. If I didn't say nothing today already, I'm not gonna say something today just because you say. I'm like, I bring it up whenever we bring it up. Cool. Today we just handle my problem. So cool. It's like, bam. Probably all of us done did that before, but to be at the age we is now in the like places we're trying to go now, to keep doing it is childish and stupid.
Very.
But like the insecure part, that's the part I want to touch on. I would say I don't necessarily think it's insecure. I would say it's intelligent to have the woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with dress in a way that's presentable to you, her, and the future family. I would say the way we can communicate it, the way it can comes off may seem immature. Yeah. But I won't say insecure is the word, because I would say the insecure thing is to not say nothing at all. Because let's say I'm a man, I know how other men think. I know how I would think if I just seen you out and seen you dressed in whatever type of way. Cool. For me to know that and understand it, and to see you still dressing in that way and don't say nothing, that will be the insecure dude, because I'm like, even though I know this shit wrong, I don't want to like have a hard time with her, or I don't want to potentially lose her and come off this way. That's the insecure dude.
Yeah, that's insecure.
Like the secure dude will say, gang, she might be upset at me saying this, but this right, this wrong. I ain't gonna lie, babe. Look, we gotta chop it up like this.
Yeah, and the context really matters in that. You know, like you said, if it's something where they bringing up something you doing and you saying that just to you ain't got no validity to your argument.
Yeah, it ain't even gonna register in her head. Like she pissed about a whole nother thing, and now you trying to bring it up. Yeah. But like you said, bro, everybody calm, everybody hearing each other out, and you just come to her. Hey, look, babe, what you think about this? More than likely, she gonna give you some pushback, which I think she should, because I say a woman shouldn't just willingly submit to a man. He gotta prove why he should be submitted to.
Yeah, you gotta prove that you are a good leader.
Exactly. So you just saying, babe, do this. I highly doubt she could be like, okay, and just start doing the shit. She could be like, why? Or she could be like, but it ain't like that. Or what the she gonna give her side of the argument. Cool. So the dude gotta have enough logic and wisdom to not only articulate the point, but articulate it in a way where she can understand it. Yeah. Like, I heard some brother say something along the lines of, if you speak Spanish and I speak English and the building on fire, and I'm trying to tell you, get out the building. If you don't understand what the hell I'm saying, the importance of what I'm saying don't matter. Right. If you can only understand Spanish and I'm like, get out the building, you like, nigga, what? But if I can say the same thing in Spanish, now I can speak your language, now you're able to understand it. Right. So same thing with this. If I got something really important and really full of wisdom that I'm saying, but I'm saying it in a way that don't register with you. If I'm saying like, babe, you need to change your clothes, you look like a hoe. What I'm saying is right. But the way I'm saying it, like the way I'm saying it, you like, what the, now you finna go off, all you heard was hoe. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you don't really understand what I was getting at. You not really even trying to hear me out. You
Yeah.
just like, what the hell?
Let
So
me ask you something.
yeah.
What scenario would cause for you to tell someone to change your clothes?
Okay, that's a good question. So I did it a couple times, and every time I did it, I never got negative pushback.
Okay.
Now, the reason I never got negative pushback, and I'm finna answer your question. Going into this, the reason I never got pushback is for the situation I just said. Not only do I understand the importance of the way we dress, I done studied it enough from enough perspectives to be able to say it in many different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm able to say it in a way that lets my woman know, bro, I'm not trying to like take away from you. I'm trying to add to you in a way where you able to demand the most respect out of any environment you walk in. I'm not trying to say, babe, I'm just doing this just so I can have control over you. I'm doing this in a way that will maintain the strength of our relationship.
Yeah.
So the reason that I had did it, to answer the question, is because for one, innately we just understand certain stuff brings certain attention. Cool. If you got a beautiful woman, she gonna always get attention regardless.
Mhm.
Like even if she's fully covered, she still got a goddamn face.
Yeah.
Other dudes gonna see her attractive ass face and still make that move.
Right.
Cool. That's understood. But I'm gonna say it's an author named Jenna McCarthy. She did an experiment called Becoming a Slut for a Day. She wore like a off the shoulder t-shirt and like a short leather skirt. That's like regular attire, like so.
Yeah, I'm like, is this supposed to be a slut?
Now, she said, now I guess regularly, obviously she wore different clothes. Like if she tried to make an experiment and wore these type of clothes on a regular day, she wore like super what we consider like way more modest clothes. You know what I'm saying? So she went out for the day wearing this outfit. And she documented how she was the victim of multiple sexual remarks. Like dudes would blindly stare at her breasts. Dudes would even try to pull a lame man move, like acting like they dropped some, bend over, try to look up her skirt. And she basically said she felt like she had, like she ready to have sex run over her forehead. Mm-hmm. Cool. Princeton University did an experiment where they showed men different women dressed in different ways and seeing what part of the brain light up. When they showed women wearing bikini type clothing, the part of their brain associated with tool usage lit up. When women were wearing more clothing, the part of your brain with like sympathy, empathy, humanity pop up. So if you see the woman dressed in a certain way, you don't even think in your head, bruh, this a divine woman, I should treat her in that way. You think in your head, like, if they think in the tool side pop up, what do you use a tool for? A specific use, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, it ain't really no humanity there. Yeah. So, for all these different reasons, I understand if my girl dressed a certain way, her experience in the world changed. Last episode, we talked about how society already don't respect women in the way they should. So for that to already be the temperament of the society, and you adding on to it by dressing a certain way that will demand even less respect. You see what I'm saying? Like, even if you dress A-OK, goddamn, the society itself already don't respect women. Mm-hmm. So let's say the respect level should be here. It's already here. So you wearing clothing that will decrease the respect, drop it from here down to here. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's say in the case of Jenna McCarthy, dudes blatantly looking up her dress, looking at her breast, making sexual remarks. Let's say I'm your husband. In that situation, I'd be ready to put built ass on anybody who disrespected you in that way. Right. Now I'm going to jail. Because I'm finna get on their ass even if it's in public. Mm-hmm. Now, this could have been a situation that could have been avoided if we would have took the proper precautions beforehand.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times, if you try to change a sister's wardrobe, for one, this is something new to her. Anything new to people is like you meet it with a little resistance.
Yeah.
So her mama ain't never dressed modestly. Her aunties, grandmas, friends, nobody else dressed the way you trying to make her dress. So this seemed like, gee, what? You see what I'm saying? So you really have to like communicate to her in the right way for it to even register in her brain. If nobody else do this, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me try to connect with you on that because it seems like the type of women that you're talking about, I don't see in my reality. Okay. You know what I mean? These are not the women that I grew up with, nor the women I am friends with.
Okay. You talking about the dress modestly?
No.
I like that. What you saying?
What you were talking about, how, they ain't never seen their mom dress modest. They ain't never seen their grandma dress modest. Yeah, I mean, we see that a lot, especially out here. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not true. In those cases, those women have a mindset where they want to be viewed by men in any way, even if it's sexual, whatever they can to get the attention. If we're talking about them people, yeah, it's a time and a place for everything. It definitely is. If I'm talking about more from my perspective, and that's really the only thing I can speak from when it comes to most things, I kind of lead more with a mindset of modesty, but I can also be sexy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have to dim down what I like about fashion for a man, because I'm not going out here dressing the same way I would have 3-4 years ago when I was interested in like going out to the club and doing all that type of stuff a lot. You know, it's a different mindset. I would implore you to read this book by Audre Lorde. It's called Uses of the Erotic, because you said a lot about how that it was that study where men will see a woman on the beach or in a bikini and that tool part of their brain lights up. Yeah. Why do you not stop and think, why am I thinking about this woman this way? We are on a beach. Yeah. She's supposed to wear a bikini, right? Okay. That's what I would say. Like, why are men not connecting that part? Because yes, I understand it's women who go out there and they dress with how they do. Yeah. A lot of women just want to be home wreckers. It's a lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's not true. And maybe that's been more of a man's experience when it comes to women. But, that also leaves a bad space for women who don't think in that way, who don't lead themselves in that way. Because if you automatically look at a woman who's on the beach in a bikini and you say, oh, the tool part of my brain lit up. Yeah. Where is the humanity in that? Okay. She's still a human. You get to wear your swimming shorts with your abs out. But she can't wear her bikini. And just because she has breast or a butt like this, that's crazy.
Now, I offer this perspective. With a brain scan study, it's interesting because if we just ask men's opinions on how these women look, you'll get a variety of different things that's based off the person individually. If you're doing a brain scan study, that's a little interesting because you're not asking the dude's opinion necessarily. Okay. You just seeing what pop up off the rip. So it's not that, oh, this is what I feel about women, or this is what I think about this in particular. She my type, she not my type. It ain't that deep if you only doing a brain scan. Yeah. It's with a brain scan, it's more black and white. You see what I'm saying? Like, bam, this popped up. This happens off the rip. This pops up. This happens off the rip. Right. It's not that, oh, I'm choosing to think X, Y, and Z. If I show a bunch of different men, different type of women, and I say, what's your type? Explain. This is a more personalized response. You see what I'm saying? But if I just grab a lot of different men and I only read it off the brain scan, it's like black and white. Cool. So with that being said, I don't think it's too much of the men like purposely trying to sexualize women. I think it's more of an innate thing. Like, I'm going to say men have a higher testosterone level. This higher testosterone level leads to a higher sex drive. This is a natural thing. We didn't make this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool. So, like you said, if a woman see a man with abs, the woman like, cool, he may look good, but I'm not necessarily sexualizing him. But in a man, that's not the case. And it's not that the men are being like dirty dogs or whatever. This is the nature that the man was made in. Now, if we talk about nature, if we was to put the blame somewhere, the blame gotta go on God. If we was playing the blame game, you see what I'm saying? So by the nature, this is how the men are made. So you said some sisters may just want to go to the beach. They not trying to get sexual attention. They literally just trying to swim. I 100% agree with you. Now, with that being said, though, that still, just because the sister has no sexual intention, that still doesn't change the nature of the men. So what I would say is, to the women who don't want this sexual attention, these are the women I'm encouraging to dress differently, because no matter how many books people write or whatever, the nature of men won't change. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So since this is the nature of men, instead of women trying to go against nature and saying, nah, I can still wear whatever I want, and the men should just, that's not the case. Like, the women should instead, I'm suggesting, dress in a way that won't get them sexualized. Like, instead of trying to say, I'm gonna dress in a sexual way, but you still better not sexualize me. I don't think that's the intelligent decision. I think the more intelligent is say, okay, I just won't dress in a way that will even give you the opportunity to sexualize me.
Let's say this. Yeah. There is both sides to that. You know what I'm saying? You got to take responsibility as a woman for certain things that you do allow or attract. Yeah. That's true. But in keeping that statement, you also kind of put the blame on the victim in a lot of cases. Okay. That's an interesting point. That is not good at all. Because we can say, you know, I'm wearing a skirt. Yeah. I'm not looking like, you know, crazy. Yeah. But of course a man is going to look like, you know, I don't go. The thing about women is majority of us, or majority of the crowd that I hang with, we ain't going looking for a man's attention. Yeah. You're going to find that regardless if you're wearing a plastic bag or if you don't have clothes on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to what you were talking about, like the nature of a man is the nature of a man is the nature of a man. Yeah. No. Okay. And here's my perspective on that. I'm not a man. Yeah. But I know that the same challenges that men face when it comes to maybe not in the same perspective. Yeah. You know, you're not going to understand it from a woman's perspective the same way a woman is not going to fully understand it from a man's perspective. Right. But you can try to, right? Okay. It's not that men have higher testosterones. It's not that men are more apt to want to have sex or anything like that. Okay. It's just that it's 2:00. Okay. It's just that women don't exploit it in the way that men do. Okay. You know? No, we don't go doing the same things that men do. But that does not mean that men have no responsibility to think for themselves. Just because whoever you grew up with or whatever a census says about how your brain lights up, that might be that animalistic part of you. Yeah. But you have the power to change that.
I agree with that. I think we can say in certain other cultures, women might be topless. If you walk around topless here, folks trying to get on it, like, all right, cool. Yeah. In other cultures, women may normally walk around topless. Yeah. In their culture, the temperament of the society is different, and we view that differently, and we don't think of it as sexual. Right. Cool. So I agree with you. It can be changed based on the mentality of the man.
And maybe that has more to do with where you are located. Yeah. Because we know that location has a huge impact on how you think about things. Right. What you do, the people you hang around, like that's all the same thing. Right. So if you're talking about those other cultures who you can see a woman go around topless and they're breastfeeding a baby and nobody thinks about it in a way that is sexual or is immoral. That's because that is natural. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's natural for them. Here, men have made it natural to sexualize a woman, period.
And I would agree with that, and I want to get back to that too. And then I would say the part you said, like it's not about testosterone or brain scans or whatever. I would say, do you think that women and men have the same sex drive?
I think we're humans.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I could say I don't want to. I know a lot of women who have higher sex drives than men.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a sex thing. It's a mentality thing.
Okay. Now, I don't got it's in my backpack, but I don't even know exactly what page it's on. I don't got the source now, but I can either add it in a video or send it to you directly later. And men, it has been proven that we do have a higher sex drive. Now, I'm not justifying it in the say we can be dogs, but what I am saying is if a woman sees a man physique or whatever, she would be less likely to act on it sexually than a man would be after seeing a woman's physique. A woman might consider it in a way like, yeah, he look good, but I still don't know him. He might have a disease. It's like, y'all really think about it.
You know what that sounds like though?
What?
Self-control, not a case of testosterone.
Now, the reason the self-control is more loose is because of the testosterone. Now, in some ways, the men have more self-control. Sexually, like you said, I think the women have it. So in general, I don't think it's a self-control thing. Because in general, we got better self-control in the areas. Women got better self-control in the areas. So based on the hormones of the different types of people will change the way they experience different situations. So I don't think it will be wise for women to say, all right, cool. Even though we understand, like how you say it, men will shoot their shot whether you wearing a plastic bag or whether you wearing nothing at all. Cool. Since we know that, we have to understand that the likelihood of them to shoot that shot or the likelihood of them being sexually aroused will increase the more like skin you show or whatever.
Yeah, cool. I can definitely agree with you on that point.
Okay. So if we can agree on that point, the less you wear or the more revealing your clothing are, the more sexually aroused the dude can get. It will make sense to me to say, if you're a woman that don't want to sexually arouse men, let your wardrobe reflect that. Because to know that and to do opposite of that, but to say you want an outcome that you not getting sexualized, that's like cognitive dissonance. That's like your actions not matching what you know to be true or so. So if I got a wife or I got a girl that's committed to me, and like you said, most women know this. Most women know the less I wear, the more sexual attention I get. So why would you fight me on dressing modestly? If you say you want to only be committed to me, you don't want to please other men, cool. Let your actions reflect it. You see what I'm saying? So, like you said, do I think it also has to do with men gaining a sense of self-control? Yes. We're not there yet, though. So, since we're not there yet,
some men are.
Some men are. I'm saying like for the whole.
Yeah.
Since we're not there yet, but you still do the actions that will bring you disrespect, it's not smart. And then to do the actions that you know will bring you to disrespect and then continue to say men are dogs, I'm like, it don't make sense to me. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So Well, first, before I even say that, I can understand where you're coming from. Let's say women got different body types too. You know, I'm more of a slim woman, so I can wear more things.
Can you though?
I can.
Like I say, let's
go with this.
Okay.
If another woman who was like very blessed behind was wearing the same skirt I had, she would be, you know, her butt would be showing.
Okay.
And then in that point, I could say, yeah, maybe she did it for somebody else to look at it.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Strictly as far as how short things are on certain body types.
Now, I agree with you? Yes. If another sister had on the exact same wardrobe, will it fit different? Of course.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is, let's say the other sister were, and like you said, you can actually see her cheeks. Cool. If you were, even though you might not be able to see your cheeks, how can I put it? The temptation is still there on the dude's behalf.
And that's on them.
But look though, this is what I'm saying. We live in a society. All right, we live in the West. The West don't respect women at all. I will argue now the whole world don't respect women how they should, but that originated in the West. And as the West expanded and started colonizing other people, the Western perspective gained all over the world. Cool. Mm-hmm. So since we in the heart of the West, America is the farthest west you can go, goddamn. Since we in the West, under white tutelage and white masculinity, they don't have a history of respecting they women or our women at all. Cool. For the last 400 years, we've been learning under them. So we black, but we damn near got white brains in this. The way the white men view their women and how they treat women, that's how we view our women, how we treat women. So I agree with you with we don't have a self-control. We act more in a animalistic type of way when it comes to sexual. I agree with you. I'm not fighting it at all. What I'm saying is, since we in that condition, you saying that, yeah, if another sister were and you can see her cheeks, I can understand dudes like getting on that section.
No. I'm not saying I can understand a dude. I'm not saying I can understand them, like, you know, doing anything bad to her.
Nah, not doing nothing bad. But I'm saying, like, you can understand they looking at it like
yeah,
damn.
But I mean, come on. I look too.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I say we all human. Okay. If I'm looking at it, I know a dude looking at it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, what I have on, are you telling me that
yes, whatever you would
have somebody change?
Because look, like you said, you a slimmer type. You might not see the cheek itself.
It's simple as sizing up. Another woman who was more voluptuous than me could easily wear this.
But look though, this is what I'm saying. Why? That's what I want to. That's the point I want to get to. Why wear it? Let's say you look beautiful in what you got on. I understand, but with what you have on brings a certain type of attention. You saying that because you can't necessarily see the sexual parts, it shouldn't bring that type of attention.
No, I'm not. A woman is sexual, period. That is a woman.
Then what you
saying?
No,
what I'm saying is a man should not put all that responsibility on, oh, well, you dress this way so I can look. And whatever I think, all the nasty thoughts that I have is cool. Because you still have that power. You could say, man, okay, she got on a cool outfit.
Okay.
If I had my ass out, I could see if it was like everybody was looking. You know what I'm saying? But just because I wear a shorter skirt or just because I have on a crop top does not give a man that authority to say that, oh, I could think about her in this way. Okay. I can do these things to her because she wore a skirt. Am I not supposed to wear a skirt?
I ain't saying do something to her. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's an extreme. Yeah. That's an extreme.
But
so I just thinking on the other part.
How you see it? Women are sexual regardless.
Yeah.
I agree with you. No matter if she wearing something completely modest, bruh, a fine woman is a fine woman. Even if you can't see her shape, a fine face is a fine face, goddamn. I agree with you. Now, since we're on the same page there, let's go from there. How you see it, if a woman wearing a plastic bag or nothing at all, me ain't gonna try to get after that. Cool. Yeah. So we got that, and we also got women are sexual regardless. Mm-hmm. Cool. Pairing those two things up, along with the high testosterone levels, having the high sex drive, along with under the presumption that like the woman is committed to a man and the man committed to a woman. Why, if we know these things, you sexual no matter what, we
It's not.
get out the window.
Ooh,
Nah,
the way you saying sexual, I want to make sure I'm talking about more of
I'm
the
saying
energy.
attractive.
Okay,
I'm saying
yeah.
attractive.
Okay.
You attractive no matter what. As men, we try to chase after the attraction of women no matter what.
Mhm.
Cool. Since we know these two things, and you a woman who in a relationship in this scenario, why not try your best to cut off all avenues that men can approach you sexually, sexualize you, disrespect you even more than the society already disrespect women? Why not try to fight against that fight as hard as you possibly can? Let's say you right, and okay, men do need to like grow up, men do need to mature, etc.
Mhm.
Cool. Like we said, we're not there yet though. So since we're not there, why not try to fight against the fight as hard as you can?
Okay, so because men have not evolved to where they should be, a woman should take on a man's job to protect herself against another man.
Is that do I think that's his job to provide protection for a woman? Yes. But one of the ways of protection is not just physical or whatever. One of the ways is guidance. Guidance is a form of protection. So if I give you advice and say, babe, you should dress in XYZ way, that is the protection. If you deny the protection, that's not on the men.
Yes, but whose responsibility is it for someone to tell a woman in that way? That's her daddy's responsibility.
But
and I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. If you had a situation where your woman wanted to wear a skirt, let's say it's right here.
Yeah.
And you had an issue with that.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Why?
Because you are not allowing her to express herself in a way that fashion feels comfortable to her. I'm not saying it gotta be up here. I'm not saying it gotta be, everything showing. If she got a skirt right here, and maybe she got ass, you know what I'm saying? Let her wear what she wants to wear. That to me screams insecurity. If I am confident in what I'm wearing and I am not going out here like going for anybody's attention or trying to do those type of things, I'll say this much. If a man that I was dating told me in this attire I had on, you can't go out with me in that, we would not be talking no more.
Okay, now that's an interesting point, and I want to raise this perspective. Right now, men are feminized and emasculated. What time is it? Oh shit! Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. I got to be working through. But in the condition we in right now, men are emasculated. Men are feminized. Men are, for lack of a better word, castrated. Mm-hmm. Cool. We're gonna call this a domesticated type of man. Domesticated under the rulership and tutelage of white men, white oppression. Cool. They created this type of black man. Mm-hmm. Historically, we don't have a history of being this type of black man. You see what I'm saying? Historically, how we said earlier, it's two things. It's masculinity, which is righteous, which is divine. It's toxic masculinity or deviation from masculinity. Based on the study of the two cultures, the two races, black masculinity don't have a history of being toxic. White masculinity has a history of oppression, misogynistic, everything. Cool. We under their tutelage now. So, from being under their tutelage, cool, we learn from them. Not cool, but we learn from them. All right. So I say that to say, the original state we will be in, I say we have to look at that to say, where should we be now? And then we have to look at the condition we're in now in the West. Cool. Originally, before we were colonized and we studied our own black cultures, we have a history of our women dressing modestly. We have a history of our women, how you were saying earlier about even the way I speak and interact with people. We have a history of our women understanding themselves, understanding their attractiveness, and understanding men in a way to know, what shouldn't I do? What should I do that'll bring the most respect to me? myself, my family, my husband, etc. They understood that.
Mm-hmm.
The men also understood how to properly respect women. Like, I won't even put myself in a situation where I would have my lust enact on the attraction of this woman. So it was like a simultaneous thing. Like, how we were saying right now, it's simultaneously both of our faults. Like, women will wear super sexy cheeks out clothing, and men are just have a lack of self-control. Originally, it was the exact opposite. The women did everything in their power to promote a healthy home environment. The men did the same thing. Cool. Mm-hmm. I say all that to say, right now we're in a situation where it's the exact opposite. We both do things to disrespect ourselves and the other sex. So if that's the case, I say sisters shouldn't be necessarily thinking, okay, because he want me to change X, Y, and Z, he's insecure. I say, anytime you try to fight against what this society presently do, this society disrespects women. I would say even selling clothes to women, I'm gonna say this, we're gonna have a part 2. Because I want to do it on a day where I don't gotta go to work, or at least we have enough time. Because I really, really want to dive into this, because this is an important conversation. I would say even selling women a short skirt or whatever is disrespectful to the woman. The women buying it, I told my fiance this already. If you shopping, no matter what female store you shopping in to get clothes, most of the clothes, they're sexual, bro. It's really hard being in America trying to dress modestly. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta specifically go out your way to find the right type of clothes or whatever. Mm-hmm. No matter where you go, brother, the options that's presented to you is the more unmodest stuff. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I say one of the causes of the society disrespecting women in the way it does is everything we offer to women is degenerate. And since this all the options, the women might not even consider it, or the men of the women might not even consider it degenerate. If you walk into the store and it ain't shit but tight ass pants and mini skirts, and you have to buy something, I don't even think it's on the women. It's like, oh, I just chose a mini skirt. No shit, you had not that many options. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I say to think in a way where, nah, this insecurity he make me change. I say women are used to the castrated, feminized, unmasculine man. Men themselves are used to being unmasculine men. What part of masculinity am I talking about? Because there's a lot of faces to it. The part that fights against whatever to provide the better outcome for the family. Me telling you to dress modestly is not necessarily insecurity. That's the masculine part of me saying, I don't give a damn if the fight against you. I don't give a damn if the fight against society. I don't give a damn who to fight against. I will fight the fight to do what I gotta do to protect the house, protect the family. A part of that is protecting you. I don't give a damn if I gotta fight against you to protect you. If you telling me, nah, I'm gonna wear this goddamn miniskirt no matter what, I'm gonna fight against it because I understand something that brings a level of harm to you. So even if I gotta fight against you and you saying, nah, you insecure.
Who am I having a level of harm against? Like, who is bringing that harm to me?
That's a good question.
Because it ain't women.
I say it could be women because the type of woman, the type of woman that will join in camaraderie with you with these type of clothing might not be the best woman for you to hang around. So what does that mean? Not the best woman for you to hang around?
Well, before you say that, I want to before I forget about what you're saying. I'm sure you know what a logical fallacy is. Like, you cannot say that back then women knew not to dress a certain way, and back then women knew to respect themselves and not to like conduct themselves with me in a certain way, because women were also more abused back then.
I say by who, and I say when
by their husbands, whether those women were in the house cooking or whether those women were out being prostitutes. Okay, they were abused much more than they are now.
This is the history you talk about. You talking about when we were still here after we got colonized. After we got colonized, we lost sense of. Okay, we've been wrapping up. I'm my mama. After we was colonized, we lost sense of our version of masculinity. Before we got colonized, before we ran into white people ran into us. The way we ran our society, we had no history of oppression over our women. Our women had no history of being toxic or whatever. Like
we're talking about a time we don't know, though.
Nah, this is the time we do know. Like for example,
when was that? When was it that we ever saw a black man? Okay, let's take what we do know, which is the generations that are still alive. We've seen how our grandparents acted, even our great grandparents. There was never a time where women were respected more because they wore long skirts. This it was never a time.
You're going off of history. Yeah. After we've been colonized, I'm saying let's go before that. Now you saying we don't know about that.
Are we talking about Africa?
We can use Africa. Let's say in Africa it's a.
Well, we got to use here because this is.
But where here, this is the West. When we came here, we already been colonized, so we can't use a history of. And then look, we can't talk about like Africa like they different. These are our same brothers and sisters that just speak a different language. Like it's nothing different from you,
yes, they may be,
and it's nothing different from their sister in Africa. That's what I'm saying. Here we raised by our oppressors. So I'm saying here we can't use this example. So no matter who you use here, whether it's our great great grandmas, whether it's us, whether it's our future great great grandkids, here this is all under the same teacher, white people. What I'm saying is they don't know how to raise a family. They don't know
that's not completely true.
No, I'm not talking about every individual white family. I'm talking about white society. If we study white society, no matter if it's here, Europe, etc., we can talk about places in Africa that's been colonized by the white power structure. This is not a racist statement. This is something that's already been documented by white people. Like I'm not saying like something that's just against white people. Like this the facts. So when I say we have to study our culture, what's native to me and you, we have to look before we have been colonized. So you see Africa, it's some African people called the Zulu people in the southern part of Africa. They had a culture called Halonafa. And Halonafa, it was the way we respect one another. Halonafa got different aspects to it. One is a like dress code aspect, the modesty aspect. The sisters dress modestly. The other part of it is a linguistic aspect. The sisters won't even like how you said earlier, like you won't go out your way to make conversation with random men. Like you like, even if it's nothing on my part, I just know how men is cool. They understood it too. The men acted in a way where it's like we gonna do whatever we can to bring peace to our women so they won't never feel the need to deviate from what we already got going. Like if everything already working, I want to keep making her happy so she keep making me happy. Like this is something we understood. We don't have a history of oppression. So what I'm saying is telling the sister to change her clothes does not mean you're oppressing the sister. If the sister want to do something that's harmful to her, and I think that's where the disconnect is. That's what we're going to talk about on part 2. Why or is dressing immodestly harmful? I think that's where we're missing each other at. Because I'm going to say this, and we're going to end on this so we get the hell out of here. If we can, let's just say, like, let's not fight against this just for the sake of right here. Okay. If we can prove dressing immodestly is harmful, do you think the brothers should fight the good fight of trying to encourage their women to dress modestly? If dressing modestly is harmful.
I said it for other questions in here.
Okay.
If you have to exhibit your control on somebody else and tell them what they can and can't do, it ain't supposed to work.
But I'm gonna say this, because most of the sisters think like, oh, it's nothing wrong with the way I dress. So if we take that approach and we don't try to correct the sisters' thinking, we just leave all the sisters by the wayside. Vice versa.
I would
if
say
all
a
the
man
sisters
needs to
got,
correct his own thinking before trying to correct the way a woman's dressed. A woman's
Okay.
dressed. And I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
Specifically for me.
Yeah.
The outfit I have on, if the first thing, okay, sure, you gonna see my legs.
Yeah.
If the only thing that a man can focus on is what they
see,
their
yeah,
sexual part of it versus, oh, that's a cool sweater, or I like how she put them colors together, or the little bows in her hair.
Man, you know a dude ain't gonna think of that.
That's not, and I don't dress for men. I dress for women.
Okay.
So,
we gonna end it on this.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna have a part 2, y'all.
I'm gonna wear another skirt.
Alright, we're gonna end it on this. I say, if the woman wants the man to focus on the inside and focus on her personality, her qualities, how he can grow with her, etc., the wise thing to do is cover the outside. If it's only 2 sides to it,
you should obviously not be over sexual. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what you wear is not necessarily over sexual. But what I'm saying is, even though it's not over sexual, it having any hint of sexuality to it will persuade a man to not focus on, oh, I think that's a cool sister. I'm not gonna lie. I get what you're saying, but that's not the case. If you see a woman that's attractive and you like see her dressed in a way that's like acts on your list that you naturally have for her, that you naturally have for women, for her to dress in a way that acts on that list, you're not thinking how cool this sister is. And I'm telling you from the perspective of like previously, like I was just sleeping around with women. I'm not thinking, damn, I think that's a really cool sister. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm thinking like, damn, she fine as hell. And from that fine as hell, I'm not necessarily thinking, I really want to be with her and get to know her. No. From that fine as hell, I'm thinking.
It's okay with men think, because I say for myself, those are not the type of men I attract, nor the type of men I date. I date men who are secure.
The type of men you attract comes from the type of the way you dress. Now, whether you choose to choose those,
that's what it really comes from. It comes from your choices and what you allow.
Okay.
Because I chose to wear a skirt does not mean that I'm gonna get a bad man.
We're gonna stop it right there. That's good. That's a good part to stop. We're gonna stop it right there. Y'all, we for sure gonna have a part 2. What you want to do it on Saturday again? Like what days you free?
Like next Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do next Saturday.
Okay. Cool. We'll pick up from here next Saturday. All right, look. Tell them where they can find you at, your IG, wherever you be at. Then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram. It's pages of 77_. And that's really all I be on.
Okay, cool. I'll put it on the screen and put it in the description. Y'all can find it. Get up with her. Now, part 2, gonna only be on modesty. Like that's something we're gonna dive into. Now, I appreciate the sister coming through. I appreciate y'all tapping in on this episode. I'll highlight y'all. Get up with me on the next episode of the Dontbeaviking podcast. Yes, sir, Ski.